I left my hometown and married my husband, who works for a prestigious company. I'm jealous of living in Manhattan and catching a handsome husband in his early 20s with a stable salary. I was the envy of all my friends. To be honest, I was very happy and excited about the bright future. I don't have to worry about money, and I live in a new apartment in New York. It was smooth sailing for everyone. However, after being promoted, I began to distrust my husband. When I got the facts, I decided to pursue my husband and discuss it. Pay alimony and child support instead of me, thanks. What? What was the action I took when my husband said the shocking words? My name is Nicole. After graduating from a local junior college, I moved to New York to get a job. At a drinking party invited by a colleague, I met Damien, who was 5 years older than me. After graduating from university, he got a job at a prestigious company and worked as a salesman. We exchanged contact information, and after that, the two of us often went out for drinks. At that time, I was in an unfamiliar place, living alone for the first time, and I had a lot of anxiety at the time. However, when I was with him, I felt strangely cheerful. After continuing our friendship for a while, I confessed. Hildred was overjoyed and agreed. Then, after 3 years of dating, we got married. Since we had been dating for a long time, I didn't feel much of the excitement of being a newlywed. If anything, I was happy to be in the same home with him and stay by his side all the time. My husband looks the same. However, there was a certain change when the position changed from a couple to a married couple. When the marriage began, he seemed to open up to me, and gradually began to see the sloppy side. He doesn't clean up even if he uses things, and leaves leftover plastic bottles behind. Oh, I wonder if he was such a sloppy person. However, if I was careful, I would clean up on my own, and it wouldn't lead to a fight. And it's not all negative. He says, "You're tired, aren't you?" and gives some massages. This is because he would naturally wash the dishes after meals. I can see the bad parts of him, but I think that after we got married, he started to feel closer to me and expose his true selves. When I think about it, I feel happy, and I try to turn a blind eye to some negatives. In this way, we spend our newlywed life at a moderate temperature. When we got married, we decided on 2 things. The first is to work together until you have a child. Since we were still young, we agreed that we should save for the future without having children for a while. So, even after I got married, I still worked for the same company. It was rare for me to work overtime, so it was my job to prepare dinner. Every day, after leaving work, I'm going home via the supermarket, preparing food, and waiting for my husband's return. My husband's workplace is a large company, so it seems that working hours are strictly controlled. However, because of the long commute, he came home later than I did. Second, don't interfere with how the other person spends their pocket money. When we got married, we created an account for living expenses. While working together, a fixed amount is transferred from each other's salaries every month. And we decided that we would be free to manage the left money. So we know each other's salaries, but we have never shown each other our pay slips. I also enjoy beauty, and it costs money for cosmetics and beauty salons. Therefore, we were in favor of an agreement not to interfere with each other. However, this promise will become a bottleneck later. After getting married, my husband's work went well, and after half a year, he was promoted. Congratulations! Thank you, my boss told me, you do a lot of work. No, your hard work has been recognized. Well, that's right. My husband is a confident person, so I usually get this kind of response at times like this. I think I'll be working more overtime in the future, so I might get home later than I used to. Well, take care of your body and do your best. Yes. Oh. If you don't need dinner, it would be helpful if you let me know as soon as possible. I will. True to his words, he often worked overtime and came home immediately after being promoted. When he is promoted, the way he manages his working hours and the salary system will change. It went from twice a week to 3 times a week and then every day. Gradually, the frequency of overtime work increases, and the time to return home becomes later and later. The rhythm of our lives has changed a lot. I like to sit around the dinner table with him every night and talk about other things. But now, I wrap my husband's portion and eat it alone in silence. I felt confused and lonely, but I couldn't help but endure my thoughts as I imagined my husband doing his best in an unfamiliar environment. While rubbing my sleepy eyes, I continued to wait for my husband to come home in the living room. And there was a change in my husband's appearance. Until now, he had been doing everything without hesitation, but there must have been a lot of work and pressure. Gradually, his countenance became sharper, and even when he was at home, he seemed to be constantly thinking. "You've lost weight lately, aren't you? Are you okay? I'm so busy that I can't even eat lunch." Well, it's just a matter of patience until I get used to it. That's right. I hope you settle down soon. Oh, I'll do my best. Nicole, you don't have to wake up every night to wait for me, okay? But you're working late. It's okay, you have a job too. Is that so? In fact, I've been yawning at work lately. Oh my God, I thought that would be the case. Seeing his smile with a meek face for the first time in a long time, my heart also softened a little. Oh. Instead, I'll try to think more about making dinner. If there's something you want to eat, request it. Thank you, I'm happy. Saying that, he immediately requested that he wants to eat grilled ginger. As a wife, do what I can to help him. That's what I vowed to do. The time we spend together is short, but we can communicate as a married couple. Even if we are busy with work, there is no change in the distance between our hearts, and we are doing well, so it's okay. That's what I thought. The first thing I felt was just a slight discomfort. It all started with message stickers. 4 months have passed since my husband was promoted one evening. It was when I was shopping after work. I'm going to make omelette rice today, and I have eggs, so I'm going to buy some chicken. The moment I took my smartphone out of my bag to search for a recipe while imagining the contents of the refrigerator. Oh, it's Damien, what's that? Just then, I received a message notification from my husband. Tap to confirm, and a certain character stamp is moving on the screen. I didn't know that you have such a stamp. It is a character that is popular among young people. I remember seeing it on social media, but it was a trend among young people who were so niche that even people in their 20s were barely recognized. Did you want to brag to your younger wife that you know what's trendy? My husband pretends to be fashion conscious and sends stamps to his wife without meaning while he is at work. He wasn't the type to do that, so it was kind of funny, even cute. However, after a while, when I opened the talk screen again. Oh, the stamp is gone? It seems that he immediately cancelled the sending of the stamp. This action made a question mark into my brain. Did he make a mistake when he was going to send it to his friend? I was a little disappointed, but I convinced myself and went home after shopping. At that time, my husband continued to work overtime every day. However, although he was busy, he seemed to grasp the gist of the job and returned to his previous appearance. Rather, his skin was glossy, and his hair and eyebrows were beautiful. He's having a lot of fun at work, and he's supposed to have a short amount of sleep, but he's lively. I am relieved to see his appearance completely changed from immediately after his promotion. I wonder if he've gotten paid a little bit more and started spending money on his own appearance? As promised at the beginning of our marriage, I haven't been shown his pay slip after his promotion. I didn't have the timing to check with my husband directly about one of the stamps, and I forgot about it before I knew it. However, a week later, an event occurs that seems to answer the discomfort. That weekend, my husband was on a business trip for 3 days and 2 nights. I have free time at home, so I decided to wander around the nearby station building by myself. There, I came across a person. What? Connor? Oh. Nicole? I can't believe I'm going to see you in a place like this. He is a synchronization of my husband's company. I've had dinner with other friends a few times. It's been a long time. You're alone? Yes, that's right, because Damien, he's been on a business trip since yesterday, right? Connor looked away for a moment, made a thoughtful voice, and then said, "Well, yes, was it?" "Ah." "It certainly was." "Oh, did he consider my feelings?" I had been told that he and my husband were working on the same team. So, I thought I knew that he was on a business trip, but this reaction. A bad premonition ran through my head. Connor, maybe. Are you protecting my husband? What? It was clear from his expression that my words had struck the point. I'm sorry. I don't know about the circumstances, but it seems that Damien is lying to you. So? I don't think he's going on a business trip. The impact was as if I had been struck in the head by lightning. I didn't think he was lying to me. Moreover, he told his wife about a fictitious business trip and stayed out for 3 days and 2 nights. Generally speaking, the purpose is probably a cheating. Fearfully, I asked him about his daily overtime. Lately, he's been going home about twice a week, and other than that, he's been going straight home, or he's almost always on time. Right? Connor chooses his words as he speaks, trying to avoid landmines. But the result is out. Seeing me shut up, he holds his head in disgust. I bowed deeply and left. I immediately went home, crying and thinking about what I should do next. However, my head is confused and I don't know anything. I wanted to get someone's help, so I took out my phone and talked to my friend. She was one of the few married people who was my classmate. However, a while ago, she divorced due to her husband's affair. At that time, I was on the side of comforting her, but I never thought that I would be the one to be involved. She got over her divorce and listened to me with great empathy. Then, as advised, I decided to ask the box office to investigate to make it clear in black and white. Before my husband returned from a fake business trip, I immediately took action and went to the box office. My husband came home the next day and treated me as usual. It was supposed to be a business trip with a packed schedule, but I felt like he had come back somehow energized. I pretended to be as calm as I could and spent the rest of my days. 2 weeks later, a report arrives from the box office. The results of the survey are black. After all, my husband lied that he was working overtime and was having an affair. However, there is something that surprised me even more than the fact of cheating. It's the identity of this woman. I've been thinking about it since I had my doubts. If cheating is true, who is she? A person whom I know? Colleague? Or a woman he met at a bar? What turned out was an answer that went far beyond such imagination. My husband's affair partner is a 17-year-old high school girl he met through social media. When I was told that, I couldn't close my open mouth. The staff of the box office nonchalantly arranged the photos on the desk in front of them. It is a photo of the scene of a secret meeting between my husband and a high school girl. When she meets my husband, she seems to wear makeup, and she looks more mature than me. However, she was still a young girl in her uniform, which was photographed on another day. In the context of marriage, infidelity is clearly an act of betrayal, but it is not a crime. However, it is a different story when the opponent is under the age of 18. I never thought he would be the kind of person who would dabble in a high school girl. All at once, disgust for him welled up, and I felt nauseous. I can't imagine continuing my relationship with this man in the future. I asked the staff of the box office to continue to collect evidence. After knowing the truth, it was honestly hell to treat him as before. He is swooping at a high school girl, and he does not seem to be aware of the fact that he is being investigated for an affair. Then 1 week later. It didn't take long to get enough evidence. I was contacted by the box office and said that they had taken a photo of the decisive scene. I made up my mind and told my husband. Is there a day this week when you think you're going to come home early? What do you want to talk about? My husband doesn't think that the affair is caught, and replies carelessly. I'll tell you then, how about Wednesday? Okay, I'll make some adjustments and go home early. Then Wednesday arrived. Oh, what's wrong with you? Wait a minute, my smartphone. Touch his smartphone with an attitude that doesn't feel the slightest bit of guilt. As expected, he is a confident husband. I'll ask you bluntly, you're cheating on me, aren't you? Exactly. I have a girlfriend. His eyebrows moved for a moment, but he admitted the fact easily. I was almost taken aback by the unexpected reaction, but I calmly began to lay out the photographic evidence. And can you explain why you went to this place? What was in the picture was the appearance of him greeting a high school girl who came out of obstetrics and gynecology with a car. It was captured by the box office. That's all you've been looking at, and as you think, I had a child with her. Do you know the gravity of the matter, and I know all about her identity? Of course, I love her, including all of them. And he sighed, looked me straight in the eye, and said, if you know everything, it's easy to tell, let's get a divorce. I'm going to do that too. It's an agreement, it's good timing. If we had a child, we would have almost lost child support. Right off? I was caught by his words and tried to question his meaning. Without a moment's hesitation, he uttered a shocking word. Pay alimony and child support instead of me, thanks. What? I couldn't understand what he was saying. Seeing me speechless, he laughed and said, I'm sorry, but it was a step late. I've recorded the audio just now, so there's no point in dragging my feet now, right? Saying that, he took out a smartphone that said recording it from his pocket. Apparently, they were recording the audio of the discussion. Here's the proof that I'm asking for a divorce. I'm going to share it with you. My husband seemed to have sent the recording to my talk screen, and immediately the notification sound on my smartphone rang. I was thinking as I took out my phone. Is this guy misunderstanding something? He doesn't have that much common sense, does he? I cleared my throat and asked him fearfully. Well, can you explain why I have to pay alimony and child support? You don't know that? Oh, you don't know because you graduated from local university. I had never been directly promoted for my academic background, but I wondered if that was the case. Say it in a low voice so as not to get irritated. No way. Do you think that the one who asks for a divorce first will get alimony and pay child support to the one who has children? After a pause, he replied with a smug face. No way, that's right, isn't it? What? Should I not? It's a lie, isn't it? I thought you're a person who could study, but I didn't know that. In return, I sighed heavily and explained to him. Alimony is paid by a person who has committed a betrayal to his partner in the sense of an apology. In addition, if you have a child with that partner, child support is paid until the child reaches adulthood. Do you understand that? You're interpreting too much for your own convenience. You're the one interpreting it conveniently, aren't you? You're going to get caught first, and I'm going to reveal your secrets. I felt sorry for myself for choosing such a man who didn't know common sense as my marriage partner, and I was angry that I would drop him into hell as much as possible. What's the matter? Don't laugh like that. I'll teach you if you don't know common sense. Huh? I took out my phone and called the police. Oh, is it the police? What? My husband impregnated a 17-year-old high school girl? This is a crime, isn't it? Hey, stop for a minute. He said so and forcibly took away my smartphone. Come on, don't call the police for something stupid. A woman can get married from the age of 16, right? So why would it be a crime? Why don't you see a little more news? The law has changed recently, so both women and men can marry over the age of 18. Besides, it's against the law to have sex with a minor under the age of 18. Oh, that's not supposed to be. If you think it's a lie, look it up online. Because, she said it's absolutely okay. It seems that he swallowed the words of a high school girl and had a relationship without any sense of crisis. As expected, I felt ridiculous, and I lost the energy to talk with him anymore. I walked out of the living room without saying anything. My husband, who is gradually beginning to realize the gravity of the situation, is watching me with a snort on my back. Feeling the pitiful stare, I quickly packed my bags and headed to a nearby business hotel. I told him when he followed at the front door. You're going to see hell from now on, no matter how naive you are. You know these words, right? It's the perfect word for you. What's that? You reap what you sow. I slammed the door shut and said the end of my short marriage. After that, I hired a lawyer and sent the proof to the high school girl's house. Naturally, her parents were furious because they did not know that their daughter was pregnant and lover was a man who was married. My husband, who was called, was reprimanded sternly. At first, the high school girl said, I don't want to break up, I'm going to give birth, but it seems that she finally learned the reality after being admonished by her parents. By the way, she infused my husband with misinformation. I mean, it was his wife who caused Damien to have an affair, right? It's not because his wife doesn't stimulate him. She was yelling at me for this crazy theory that I should pay alimony and child support. My husband paid for abortions, transportation expenses for hospital visits, from her parents. He was then charged for compensation for physical and mental distress. He was further questioned by the police, but agreed to pay a settlement and escaped arrest. However, it is said that this is found out at work and is being looked at with white eyes by colleagues. This is what I heard when I received a phone call from Connor worrying about me and about the alimony, which my husband misunderstood. In addition to the evidence collected by the box office, I have audio recordings of my stupid husband himself confessing to cheating. Of course, I was allowed to make a claim to him who was responsible. After that, the divorce was finalized through a lawyer. It was a safe life for me, but my husband was tired of the lack of stimulation every day. As a reaction, he seems to have been addicted to cheating on a high school girl. What he did is unforgivable. The price paid by him as a result of his pursuit of stimulation would be too big. Repent of his ignorance and, at best, suffer and reflect. I, on the other hand, feel refreshed to be separated from my stupid husband. I'm okay with men and marriage for a while. Yes, yes, yes. Drink together. I'm living freely and happily while drinking with my friend who was in the same situation before and gave me some advice on cheating investigation.